Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. It must be Super Bowl week because rumors are flying all over the place, getting wild here on Bears Now. Juiciest rumor yet since we launched our Bears YouTube channel about 3 weeks ago. Get a hold of this, guys. We got to take this step by step because this is very interesting. You're probably reading the title, oh, acquire Cam Newton. We've talked about that before. Get ready, strap in, because this is wild. Mark Silverman, host of Waddle Silvy in Chicago. I know you Bears fans have probably listened to them before. One of the biggest radio shows in Chicago, ESPN 1000. He dropped this piece of information on Thursday like it was no big deal. Said that a Chiefs defensive player, called him a prominent defensive player, by the way, says that the Bears will go after Cam Newton this offseason. Silvy said that this player told him this a couple of weeks after the Bears played the Chiefs, which was in Week 16, so I'm guessing he found out about this after the regular season. Here's the quote from this anonymous Chiefs player. "I think you guys are going to get Cam. I don't think your coach trusts Trubisky." So, I put on my investigative journalism hat this morning. I started doing some research. I'm like, man, I'm cross-pollinating. I'm trying to figure out, okay, who's connected to Cam? Who's connected to Matt Nagy, which a lot of Chiefs players are because he was on their staff a couple of years ago as their offensive coordinator. And I'm trying to figure this out. And then I'm also saying, okay, he called him a prominent defensive player. So I'm like, man, who could this player be? Who is dropping this piece of information to Silvy up in Chicago about the Bears going after Cam Newton this offseason? So I was trying to figure it out. I'm going to try and give some candidates of players who I think this could be on the Chiefs in just a moment. But when I'm thinking about Cam Newton to the Bears, just as far as a fit goes, it makes some sense, right? If he gets healthy, I think we can all agree he is an upgrade from Mitch Trubisky. Was hurt last year, has been dealing with injuries the last couple of years. But this is certainly a very juicy rumor, an intriguing idea, but I certainly am trying to get to the bottom of this and figure out who this player is. Before we try to do that, I want you guys to get subscribed to our Bears-only YouTube channel, chatsports.com/Bears. If you're watching on our Bears channel, just hit that big red button. By the way, if you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, it's probably Saturday or Sunday because we posted this on our Bears-only channel first on Friday. So if you want this Bears content instantly, got to get subscribed to our Bears channel, chatsports.com/Bears. We're going to continue to grow the channel. We appreciate you guys approaching 2,000 subscribers in less than a month. Got to hit the big red button or go to the link, chatsports.com/Bears, for Bears videos all off season long. Okay, let's try and figure this out. So I know terms get thrown around loosely in the year 2020. It's not like, back in the good old days when it was good, honest journalism. But prominent defensive players for the Chiefs. I think there's three of them. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, certainly having a great year. One of the better safeties in the NFL. He certainly fits that term prominent. Could it be him? Played in the SEC. Does have a similar background to Cam. They both got kicked out of SEC schools. Cam got kicked out of Florida before landing at Auburn. Tyrann Mathieu got kicked out of LSU before going to the NFL, so you've got that connection. Chris Jones, a younger player. I don't really see that. Did play at Mississippi State. Could that be a possibility? Probably not. Frank Clark, I don't think he does anything anonymously, so I'm going to rule him out. I don't think he's going behind anybody's back, dropping quotes like him. So I think out of these three, Tyrann Mathieu's the most likely. So let's say that the term gets thrown out a little loosely, which is very possible. How about Terrell Suggs? Been in the league a while. He's certainly not prominent anymore. And you're probably thinking, well, Suggs didn't join the Chiefs till later in the year. He joined before the Bears game, about a week before. And remember, this piece of information was dropped to Silvy a couple of weeks after the Bears-Chiefs game in Week 16. So he is a possibility. It is possible. Kendall Fuller, people know him in the NFL. His brother, Kyle Fuller, plays for the Bears. I don't really think that fits there, but maybe he's a possibility. Anthony Hitchens is a player people know. He's certainly not prominent. I think he's definitely the biggest of long shots. I'll throw Mo Claiborne out there. People know who he is. He's not a very good player anymore, but he played in the SEC. Maybe he's the ultimate long shot. I do think it's those 6 or 7 players. It's one of those guys. I'll ask you, who is this Chiefs prominent defensive player dropping this piece of information that the Bears are going to go after Cam Newton this offseason? If I had to guess, and this is all that it is, I would guess Tyrann Mathieu. I would guess the Honey Badger. He's well-connected. Players in the league like him. He's got a lot of friends in the NFL. He played in the SEC, as did Cam Newton. That's just a guess, but I honestly have no idea. I'm certainly going to try and figure this one out. If anyone has any inside knowledge, please let me know in the comments section below. But give your best guess, give your best opinion there. Who is this Chiefs prominent defensive player dropping this rumor about the Bears acquiring Cam Newton? Okay, let's get to more Bears rumors on today's show. How about signing Emmanuel Sanders? I talked about receivers yesterday, and I'll be honest, I did not think all you Bears fans liked Riley Ridley and Javon Wims as much as y'all did, but apparently y'all do. I think this is an intriguing idea. Now, I said yesterday I thought the Bears should look more toward the draft, just because it's a talented draft. You don't have to pay as much money for rookies, obviously, but I would not hate this idea. The Bears can certainly upgrade at slot receiver, and that is not a slight to Taylor Gabriel. He is a decent slot receiver in the NFL, but he's not Emmanuel Sanders, and the Bears can save $4.5 million against the cap by cutting Taylor Gabriel. I think that makes sense. Bears don't have a ton of cap space. They could use the extra money to upgrade at the offensive line, to go sign a wide receiver. I like Allen Robinson, who, by the way, said he wants to be in Chicago for the long term. Anthony Miller, he's a nice number 2 type of player. Would be an excellent number 3 wide receiver if you brought in a guy like Emmanuel Sanders. And yeah, we'll see what Ridley Wims and Cordero Patterson, how he fits in this offense next year. By the way, y'all freaked out when I said the Bears might cut him. Relax. I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying they could save a few million bucks for a guy they didn't really utilize last year. So it's kind of a look at the wide receiver depth chart. Emmanuel Sanders would certainly be an upgrade at slot and would help this offense out. He's a quarterback-friendly player, can really get open. I'll ask you guys this, because y'all ripped me and say, oh, Bears shouldn't add a receiver. Should the Bears add a legitimate wide receiver, whether it's in the draft, whether it's in free agency? Obviously, they will add or sign somebody, or draft somebody late in the draft, but should they sign someone or use a premium pick on them, like one of their second-round picks? Type Y for yes if you think they should. Type in for no. I think they should. I think they should add a receiver. If you're committed to building around Mitch Trubisky, although Chiefs players think Cam Newton's going to be the quarterback next year, but if you're committed to building around Mitch, gotta upgrade at receiver. I am typing my Y for yes. Now, this Bears polo is still on sale, $20 off, just $49.99. Got to get your Bears gear before next season starts. Game day polo, you're not going to find a better deal out there. Chatsports.com/Bears1, $20 off at just $49.99. Nice dry fit Bears polo there. Take advantage of these deals. They are not going to last forever. Chatsports.com/Bears1. We will have the link in the description, in the comments for you guys. Make it easy for y'all. Chatsports.com/Bears1 is where you can find this Bears polo. Hey, take a look at some of the top free agent wide receivers. I got Sanders at number 3. I think he's certainly interchangeable with A.J. Green at number 2 there. Don't think Amari Cooper is going to become available. I think the Cowboys will either sign him or put one of their tags on him. Robbie Anderson, Randall Cobb. I don't like Anderson's fit with Mitch. He's not a great deep ball thrower, and that's what Anderson does. Cobb's an intriguing guy. He's a good slot player for the right price on a 1-year deal. I would not hate that. He is certainly familiar with the NFC North as well. We'll see what the Cowboys decide to do with Cobb this offseason. That's kind of a look at the top free agent wide receivers there. But Sanders, he's been a steady player really since he's entered the league. Having a great year this year since he got traded to the 49ers. Combined stats there between the Broncos and 49ers this year, 869 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's just consistent. He's a very, very consistent player. He's not a top-end number 1 receiver, but he's an excellent number 2 receiver and a low-end number 1. He's a good player. He gets open, runs good routes. He would be a great option for Mitch Trubisky. Question is, what's the price, right? I mean, I'm not paying 32-year-old Emmanuel Sanders, more than $10 million a year. Could you get him on a 2-year, $18, $20 million contract? I'd be down for that. I wouldn't give him more than $9-10 million per year, and I wouldn't give him more than 2 years. What do you guys think? How much are you willing to give Emmanuel Sanders? Now, is John DeFilippo excited about this Bears team, this Bears staff? Well, it certainly seems so. We talked about DeFilippo, how he can help Mitch Trubisky heading into next season earlier this week on our Bears channel, so check that out, chatsports.com/Bears. We got videos coming out all the time for you guys. One of 4 new offensive coaches on this staff. We've talked about it a lot. They have revamped this staff. Matt Nagy has, especially on the offensive side of the ball. A lot of success with young quarterbacks. I found this interesting. DeFilippo spoke for the first time publicly since taking the quarterback coaching job for the Bears, comparing this Bears staff to the 2017 Eagles staff that he was a part of that won a Super Bowl. Quote, "We have a lot of very experienced guys that had no ego, and that's what attracted me to this job the most. was the experience on this staff that coach was putting together with no ego, and our only goal is to win. I find that very interesting. Obviously, you have to have the personnel to win a Super Bowl, but to compare this staff and the feeling of this staff to that 2017 Eagles staff, that gets me excited and optimistic about 2020. And now, again, none of that matters if DeFilippo and these other coaches can't help Mitch Trubisky. 2018, there was a lot to build off of. 24 touchdowns to 12 picks, 2-to-1 ratio. He ran a lot more, utilized his legs. As you guys know, Mitch had that left shoulder surgery this year, so maybe that impacted his willingness to run at times this season. And people think, oh, it's his non-throwing shoulder. That doesn't affect how he throws his mechanics. Yeah, it does, dude. It is a bigger factor than you would think. So I'm starting to think that that injury was more nagging than we initially anticipated. Certainly, hopefully, Mitch can bounce back. I think DeFilippo is a guy who can help him. He's had success with younger quarterbacks. That'll be his duty in 2020. Now, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. Patrick Mahomes is playing in the Super Bowl. These guys are going to be connected forever as long as Mitch and Mahomes are playing in the NFL. The Chiefs gearing up for the big game, couple of days away. The Bears, of course, infamously traded up to select Mitch Trubisky with the number 2 overall pick. Chiefs traded up from 27 to 10. They take Mahomes. Texans get Deshaun Watson with the number 12 pick. Now, let's not be that guy who's like, oh, they should have taken Mahomes. Mahomes was not super high on a lot of boards. Now, the Chiefs certainly thought highly of him, and they were ahead of the curve, obviously, Andy Reid and those guys. But this is not, the national media, oh, the Bears screwed the pooch on this one. Yeah, should they trade it up for Trubisky? Probably not. But it's not like Pat Mahomes was a unanimous top 5 pick in the NFL. There's a reason he fell to number 10, air raid system in college. But it does make you wonder what could have been. Could the Bears be playing in the Super Bowl if they had Patrick Mahomes? Certainly would be a possibility. The comparison over the last few years, and certainly this year, has leaned heavily in Mahomes' favor since he entered the league. But I'm still optimistic about Mitch. I like this new staff. I think he can get back on track in 2020. This is the question, though, that all Bears fans want to know as they watch Pat Mahomes play in the Super Bowl this Sunday. Will Mitch Trubisky lead the Bears to a Super Bowl? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. I'm holding judgment. I don't want to, I'm sure I'm going to see a lot of 2s in there because, it's split among this fan base if Trubisky is the guy. I want to see how 2020 plays out. I really do. New staff. I was optimistic after 2018. I want to see 2020 play out first before I answer this question. But I want to hear from you guys. Will Trubisky lead the Bears to a Super Bowl? If you want to bet on the big game, you can do so at BetDSI. This line has not moved much. It's been 1.5-point favorites for the Chiefs for several days now. Over-under set at 54. Got to bet at BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NFL120. Tons of prop bets, which are always a ton of fun, that you can bet on at BetDSI. I'm excited for the Super Bowl. I know we're frustrated that Trubisky is the Bears quarterback and Mahomes isn't, but we all love Super Bowl Sunday. I'm excited for it. Use that promo code NFL120 to get that 120% deposit bonus. Chessworks.com/bet. That is the place you can sign up for BetDSI. Now let's get a little more news out there. You guys probably saw the Bears sign cornerback Trey Roberson out of the CFL. He's set to make the largest CFL to NFL contract since 2009 when the Dolphins signed Cameron Wake. Last time I checked, that worked out pretty well. Became one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. Roberson chose the Bears over 9 other NFL teams. 10 teams offered him contracts. He's got a couple of incentives if he makes the 53-man roster and those sort of things. So obviously a move that the Bears are making this offseason. You look forward, NFL free agency doesn't start until mid-March, but CFL free agents are available for NFL teams to sign. Roberson had an outstanding season in the CFL last year. He was really a ball hawk. When they signed him, I was like, oh, bringing in a CFL guy. He's not going to make the 53-man roster. He had 7 picks last year, including 2 pick sixes. Monster season, had 3 picks in 1 game. This is the best CFL player to make the transition since Cam Wake since 2009. So hopefully he sticks around, has some special teams value, and can maybe be a nickelback type of player. I will say this, and I've talked about this earlier, in the last couple of weeks. I do think the Bears are going to release Prince Amukamara, the aging cornerback. They can save $9 million on the cap. It just doesn't make sense to bring him back for $10 million. Still a decent player, not a top-end corner last year. The production just doesn't justify what he makes anymore. They signed Roberson. They'll probably look at corner in free agency to add a depth player. I don't think they'll add a top-end corner or anything like that, but I do think the Bears will move on from Amukamara unless he's willing to take a pay cut. That's a possibility as well. I'd keep him for $5 million. I just can't pay him $10 million. You see the decline there. He did have 3 picks last year, but 3 out of the last 4 years, no interceptions. The PBU's 10 this year. Again, he's still a decent player. He's an above-average player. You don't pay decent players $10 million. It's just too much against the cap. They can cut him and save $9 million. I would expect the Bears to do so. That's going to wrap it up for today's Bears Rumors and News Show. Fascinated to see if we find out who that Chiefs player was who revealed that juicy rumor about Cam Newton to the Bears. We'll see you next time.